everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Clown Together podcast. I'm your host, Tony Scorp, here with my co-host, Deception. Deception, say hi.
What up?
Welcome back for episode 140. It's 140 of the Clown Together podcast. We have a couple cool topics today. Mainly talking about CDL. We haven't really done like a CDL deep dive podcast yet, so we're kind of gonna do that today. We have a couple other little mini topics to talk before and after, but that's kind of be the main shebang of the day. So, and Deception will be indeedly taking the lead, as I am still recovering from being sick and my voice is here and there and everywhere but in my mouth. That's what she's. Oh god, I'm off to a really bad start. Anyway, I'm not even a minute, bro, and I've already like said something that's like, ugh. All right. Anyway, okay. So first topic of today, there was a Warzone Dev Talk with new intel leading into season 1, which starts tomorrow. Very excited for that actually.
Oh yeah.
I'm really hyped for the integration of Warzone and a little nervous. You know, sometimes integrations go really well, and then sometimes we get Caldera, so you win some and you lose some.
Yeah.
So Deception, take the lead, my boy. Take the lead, my son.
Yeah, so there was a fun fact. This dropped, like, literally right after we ended the podcast. Like, I'm not kidding.
Literally, like, we ended the podcast.
We were
pulled up
still
Twitter.
in Discord and everything, because we usually hang out in Discord for a couple minutes after the podcast. Legitimately, we ended the podcast, ended streams, and I get a Twitter notification, Warzone Dev Talk is out. And I'm like, oh, great.
Oh my god. It was, like, actually...
So...
Whatevs.
So basically, they just kind of outlined what is going to be involved in the Warzone integration for Season 1 of Black Ops 7. The biggest highlight is something that a question I've been asking ever since the end of the beta when they announced the open matchmaking. And they officially confirmed that the open matchmaking system will also be making its way into Warzone. So that's really fun.
Yeah.
That is pretty huge. Should make Warzone a lot less sweaty. I mean, on average, hopefully. But they announced a bunch of other things. Like, obviously, we're going to be getting Haven's Hollow, the new Resurgence map. That we've highlighted a lot. They also announced that they also gave more details on what was going to happen with Rebirth, because they've been talking for the last like month or so about like, oh, Rebirth is going to get like a visual overhaul and it's going to be a little different. But we didn't really know what was going to happen. Turns out phase 1 of the visual overhaul is that it's going to be snowy. We're getting snowy Rebirth.
Snow.
There's snow everywhere.
Snow.
They also have added a couple like small areas to kind of break up the, because like on Rebirth, like one of the only things I didn't like about Rebirth was like there were some parts of the map that it was basically just like a death trap to be in. And they've cleaned up a couple of those places to give you a little bit of help in those areas, which is nice. But the big thing is the snow. It's going to be snowing all over Rebirth. I really hope that they like put Christmas decorations in the prison or something. That'd be cool, but we'll see. But yeah, by far the biggest thing aside from all the Black Ops 7 integration is that the open matchmaking is making its way into Warzone. I'm really excited for that. And that personally was like, that was kind of like the tipping point for me, is like, I definitely still enjoy Warzone, especially with like all the improvements they made, kind of reverting everything from when Warzone 2.0 initially dropped. But the matchmaking was the main reason why I don't really play Warzone anymore.
Yeah, I got really, really sweaty, and just makes it very every game you have to be locked in, and there's really no casual side to the game.
Yeah, and I'm really, really excited for the integration. Um, I don't know, like when. I don't know if I'll play it tomorrow or not. It depends on if I have people to play with, but I definitely will be playing Warzone at some point. I want to try it.
Yeah, I'm ready to play it. I'm actually really excited. Unfortunately, I'm working a lot of this weekend, so I'm not gonna be able to play as much as I was hoping. But next week for sure, the grind is going to be insane, especially because my last 2 days of classes are Monday and Tuesday. So,
Okay.
which is actually insane because then I can actually like play pre and post podcast.
Yeah, we might have some fun the next couple of weeks during that time.
We will. And then um the and then I'm kid free from the 19th to the 23rd, which is actually insane.
Wow.
So, your girl's going to be grinding. All right, YouTube's coming back, everything's coming back. Everything that I want to do in the gaming world that I have not been able to do is going to start literally probably next week. Honestly, after the 11th when I have my quantitative methods final. After that, it is going to be insane.
Gotta run it up.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited for basically everything with Black Ops 7 Season 1. It all looks pretty good to me. But like, I don't know, there's part of me that I'm like, I'm partially more excited for Warzone than anything just because like I've low-key missed Warzone because back when Rebirth started to like really gain traction and people played it a lot, I was having a lot of fun on it. But then Warzone 2 came out and kind of ruined everything. And ever since Warzone 2, it's been like, yeah, I really want to play Warzone, but Warzone's not really that fun.
I think the only time that I have fun playing Warzone is when I play with other people. I have to really like grind with other
Oh yeah, I
people
don't really like playing
to
Warzone solo.
be able to have fun. But like in the original days of Warzone, like I would grind solos like crazy.
I don't know. Now that open matchmaking is a thing, I think I could be persuaded to grind solos more.
I think so too.
My thing about solos is I felt like I felt like I either won, but like by the skin of my teeth because there were sweats at the end, or like I would just get destroyed
Well,
like
because there
right
was
off the drop.
remember we used to do those like online tournament things. I forgot what they're called. What um where did we do those like online tournaments? Remember we used to do them when we used to sign up and then we used to
We did
grind and
Z
then
League.
Z
That's what
League.
that's what we did.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a bunch of different sites, but that's the one we
That's the one we
used.
used. And we were on them. And I would grind those things like every day. We would just Z League tournament, Z League tournament, Z League tournament.
I remember me and Wyatt would play, and we grinded. There were a bunch of days where we went for like 8 hours, and
So
it
much
wasn't
fun.
like 8 hours of like just playing Warzone and like occasionally playing one of the Z League tournaments. It was every like hour we were getting in a new tournament ready to go.
Yeah.
That was when it was really fun. Like that's probably like the most fun I've had in Warzone is when we were grinding Z League tournaments all the time.
We need to bring that back. I'm telling you. Bring it back. Because I'm gonna be so bored, dude. Like, I'm gonna go from like doing everything to doing not school, and I'm gonna be bored. So I'm gonna need something to fill my time, and what better to fill my time than video games? So
Run
just
that COD up.
yeah, video games, Scorpion Syndicate, content creation, all the things that I love to do.
I have to rent some DVD too because there's an event
Ooh,
coming
DVD.
in just a few days.
Oh, maybe we can talk about that next week. Alrighty. changing courses, kinda, maybe a little bit. Call of Duty League. So we've been kind of like refraining from talking about a lot about it, just because we wanted to do like kind of pretty much like an entire podcast. You guys hear my cat?
I did.
She just
I don't know if everybody
meowed.
else did.
She's pissed because I'm not giving. Hi. Um. So we wanted to do like an entire podcast about it. Um. Oh.
I mean, what a better time than today, because we've already had a bunch of kickoff tournaments and stuff, and we've seen
Mhm.
CDL teams in action, which is something we've never seen before. We never really got to see full teams in action before the season started officially. Um,
We had
but I mean, like I said,
Kason's
not much
50K
better
finals.
time than right now, because uh, the season literally starts this weekend. So,
Yep. Alrighty. So we've had a bunch of different rebrands that I kind of want to go about these first, just so everyone, is kind of like on board with the new teams and new names and just everything that's going on.
oh
We
yeah,
have no original CDL teams anymore. They are all changed either name, part of the name, location, logo, um, something has changed about them. So unfortunately, none of the originals were made. So we have FaZe Vegas, which is Atlanta FaZe relocation to Vegas. Then we have the Boston Breach. We have Optic Texas. Then we have Miami Heretics. Then we have the Carolina Royal Ravens. Then we have M8 Paris, which is the LA Gorillas taken over by Mate, changed locations to Paris. So now we have two, three international teams, two that are outside of NA, which is pretty great. We're back in Paris. We haven't been in Paris since the beginning. Now we're back in there. Hopefully, they have some better luck there than they've had here in LA. Then we have G2 Minnesota. No longer the Minnesota Rocker. That is G2 Minnesota. Cloud9 New York, Los Angeles Thieves, Riyadh Falcons. That's another relocation. They went from the Las Vegas Falcons to Riyadh Falcons, making another international team. Then we've got the Vancouver Surge, and then we've got the Toronto Koi, changing from the Toronto Ultra. That's a big change right there as well.
yeah. It's. I mean, I kind of saw this coming, especially after all the EWC stuff started, and it was like when I the first EWC event um in 2024, I kind of saw this coming, because even back then, when EWC was like, we'll allow you to be represented by your parent company and not, you don't have to run your CDL name. A lot of teams did it. Like Toronto did it with Koi. Um, G2 did it after with Minnesota, because they had just acquired Rocker. Um, and like when I saw that happening, I kind of saw the writing on the wall. I was like, this is probably going to happen eventually. They're probably going to uh these teams are probably going to rebrand just their parent company name, just because it's probably easier for integration into EWC, and it just makes sense because obviously, like we've talked about it before, it seemed like the city based system just doesn't work really in esports in general, but especially in the CDL. Um, there weren't a ton of teams that have like capitalized on it or like made a name for themselves. I mean, obviously, like Toronto Ultra and like Minnesota Rocker were like two of the biggest ones. Um, they definitely helped that system seem to work, but there was just too many flaws in it, and I felt like it was going to crumble eventually, and it finally has. And we basically, outside of like the locations kind of being the same, and like some people are tied to the location still. They don't really care about the name anymore. Um, and like we said at the top of that, there are no original CDL teams remaining, which is kind of crazy. It's only been we've only been through like 6 years of the CDL, and all the original teams are gone.
Yeah,
It's
I
kind of
mean,
nuts.
it is nuts, but I think it's well, it's kind of expected, in my opinion. But oh well. Now looking at those teams, um, I kind of took the liberty of trying to find all the teams based off of the CDL. If I'm missing any, Deception, can you pay attention and see if I'm missing any, and then we can go and find them on
Yeah,
their actual pages. But I figured most of them are posted on CDL Intel, so it would be easier this way. So,
I'm
I mean,
sure
we
they're
have
all
our
posted
back to
on
back.
CDL info.
Yeah, so we have our back to back real champions, Aptic Gaming. These guys are staying together again. You got Mercules, you've got Dashy, you've got Shotzi, and you've got Hook. I mean, why mess with perfection? I mean, honestly, like going into the
I mean, and they've
season, they
already
are
been doing
still
very well.
proving their dominance. It's just
They have already been playing very well.
this team is
Um,
they're meshing. They're meshing so well. And they're continuing, into a new game and continuing that mesh. I think things are gonna start, they're gonna I think what's gonna happen is they're gonna have an early dominance in this game. Teams are gonna catch up a little bit. Um, but I think this might be the new like CDL Dynasty team. Like we saw with the CDL squad. Not the CDL squad. What the fuck am I trying to say? The phase squad that we had for so long. Oh my god, what the frick? I haven't had my caffeine for the day, guys. Sorry. I'm trying to like cut back on my caffeine
yeah, I
consumption.
mean, I know it's early, and I know it's super early. Like the CDL season is not officially even started. But I know it's early, but it's kind of insane that I haven't really been hearing a whole lot of other people and players come into discussions of like, who do you think is the best player in the game? Uh, Most people will say one of these four,
Mhm.
especially Hook and Mercules. They've been really showing up
Yep.
in this game, and Dash has been super good too.
And
But
Shotzi's
like
just like
when you
consistently a good
ask a
player
bunch
as
of
well.
people, like if you ask somebody that's watched the events that have happened so far, you ask them who they think is the best player in the game, there's like a 90% chance that they're gonna say one of these four.
Yep.
And that's kind of crazy being this early. I mean, yeah, it's early, but these guys are still very, very good.
I mean, they're just
Um,
good with like the
they don't look
utilize.
like they missed a beat.
No, and they're really good with like the. I think with the switch of movement to omni movement as well, especially with Shotzi being like the movement king, I guess, of the CDL. Like that's really where they're capitalizing is on the movement and on being able to utilize that to their advantage. And they've been really doing nerd shit for the past a little bit, and it's proven to be beneficial. So, I think this team will be. It has the they have the ability to cement a dynasty here for a few years. I'd say, um, as one of the best teams in Call of Duty. They just have to prove it, which I totally think they can do.
Yeah, they are so good right now.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to the next team, we have Vegas FaZe, aka Atlanta FaZe. Um, they rebranded and announced their roster in one video. We've got Simp staying, and then we've got Draza also staying, and then we've got O4 and Abuza being added to the roster. This team is gonna be nasty. I'm not gonna lie. O4 and Abuza, they've really proven themselves. They really haven't had a good shot on, they've been on Surge, which was a good team, but like they haven't really had a shot with a big org to really prove themselves. And I think being on FaZe, they'll be able to do that, especially with like two really powerhouse players of Simp and Draza. So, um,
Dude, this team, like, I think this team has probably the most potential for like improvement
mm-hmm,
as far as like on paper. I mean, obviously this team is already really good, but um, I definitely think they have the most potential for improvement. I think this team is going to be very good.
Yeah.
Um, not trying to spoil a lot for later, but this team so far has been slightly underwhelming, but I don't think that that's something to be worried about. Um, I think that they have a lot of potential. They can be very, very good. Um, and I think with time we'll see these guys get a lot better.
Yeah. So that is Vegas. Oh, Vegas Vegas, phase Vegas. There's a lot of like controversy around this team though about the rebrand, about the colors, just the rebrand in general. Not as much the roster, but I mean obviously something wasn't working with the last one, so they kind of had to make that change. Moving
Yeah,
we
I think
had
after what happened in BO6, I think it was finally time for the
yeah.
trio to split up, and it finally happened.
Mhm. Speaking of the trio, we've got the LA Thieves roster, which is Hydra, Abizi, Penny, and Scrap. So Hydra and Scrap obviously stayed from last year. They were the two that were chosen to stay on the roster for Thieves. Kenny being brought back to Thieves after his hiatus for like what 2 years from the organization to rejoin Optic. Um,
Bro, Kenny has just bounced back around Thieves so much. Like he was there in BO4 when they first showed up for their first real shot in the CWL, and then Thieves kind of dissolved going into the CDL, and then when Thieves came back initially in Cold War, Kenny was on that team. Um, and things didn't work out so well, and he ended up, he ended up leaving again. And then he comes back when they get that crazy team together for Vanguard, and then he leaves again
mhm,
for Optic, and now he's back again.
yeah. I mean, this is just kind of his like home, I guess. He just always comes back to LA. Thieves. So Thieves in general, he just always comes back to them, and I think they just have like a little soft spot for Kenny, and rightfully so. I mean, he's a good player. He's a valuable like leader
Yeah,
outside the game as well, like both in and outside the game. And I feel like this team's gonna be good. I mean, you've got just really just they're such good players, and I mean on paper it's gonna be a top team. It's more of
I
just
think
like
there
can
is
they mesh together.
serious potential with Hydra and Aviza.
Mm-hmm.
That duo is crazy. Uh, they get locked in together, and they will do very well.
It's
Um,
just a matter of what they can do. I mean, the potential is there. It's just what they can do with it.
I definitely think like as much as like Kenny has proven to be good for LAT and like basically every team he's played for, I do think Kenny is probably the X factor here
Yeah.
because Hydra, Scrap, and Abizi all like consistently play at a really high level, and Kenny, although he's like a really good leader, he's sometimes pretty inconsistent in terms of how well he does from game to game. So if he's in a slump, you might see them fall a little bit.
Yeah.
But if he's playing really well, it's going to be difficult to stop them. I think.
Yeah. But they're gonna be a good team. Definitely a top team, especially at the beginning, I believe. Moving on to the next one, we've got the Carolina Royal Ravens. We've got Slasher, who surprisingly stayed on the roster. Finally didn't get cut into a new team. We've got we got Nero, we got Lurks, and we got Raised.
It's cool that Craze is getting a shot. I think Craze is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's nice he's getting a shot, but I don't know. This team looks good. Um, obviously, like Slasher has been here for so long. He's like
Mm-hmm.
he's like one of, if not the only players left that was competing before the jetpack era of COD,
Yeah,
which is crazy.
yeah.
Um, I mean, Nero is pretty underrated. I think. I think when he's good, he is very very good. Uh, the big questions are just Craze and Lurks. I mean, I've seen some highlights of Craze. He looks pretty good. Lurks is he's got a little slow start. I think. I remember when they played Optic in that Monster Gaming event. Lurks got like one kill in the S&D, but
Oof. You
it
know,
was
there's
super
time.
early. But
There's time to spread his wings and fly. I mean, he's got to just find his footing here and with the big dogs. And I think once he does, he'll do a little bit better. I think I think he has some good potential long term as like a mid tier player. I don't think he's gonna be unless he like actually like puts in the work and changes his game quite a bit. I don't think he's ever gonna really be like an X Factor player. He's just gonna kind of be like he'll be a good like support individual, which is kind of mean to say, but that's just like the truth.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know what the aspirations for this Ravens team are. Um, Ravens have like the thing about Ravens is like they've never really been like a super great team. They've definitely been a really bad team before.
Oh yeah,
But they sort of like they usually lurk around like the middle of the pack in terms of CDL teams. Like the last couple of years, we've often seen them making like kind of good loser bracket runs, but then they'll lose to they'll lose to like a really good team that got dropped down there, or they usually lose to a team going on like an insane run.
yeah.
Like they have very often recently lost to Surge in the losers bracket because Surge will get thrown down there and then they'll start doing really well. Um,
I mean, we always root for them though. We always try to root for Ravens losers bracket run. I don't think it's really ever happened, but they try. And I don't know. This is just like one of like the mid tier teams that like they'll have their moments where they'll have really good games, and I think they'll have probably like a good major or two where they'll really show up, probably get like top four, maybe depending on how things go. But I mean, this is just one of those mid tier teams that like yeah they're
top four
good.
would be crazy for this thing.
Yeah, I think they could do it. It would just have to be like some luck would have definitely be in play for them. Moving on to the next team, we've got the Miami Heretics. We've got Renko, got Rencor, not Renko. Sorry, my bad, guys. Metals, Super, Strikes. Um, I mean, solid. It's a solid roster.
Yeah, it's tough to really say like how good these guys are because they haven't really played together that much. At least one of them has had to sub out in like all the events they played. Um, but I mean, Rancor, Metals, and Super, we know they're good.
Yeah,
Um, especially Metals. Metals has proven to be consistently the best player on Heretics. Ever since he got put on there. Um, I think that this team is really. I always admire like the international teams. Uh, like anytime there's been like a all UK team or all Spanish team or what have you come into uh come into a tournament or come into the league, I always kind of admire them and hope they do well. I hope Heretics do well. They've proven since they started in MW3 that they can make a splash and they can make upsets and make good runs. Um, we'll see if they can put it all together and maybe go for winning an event this year. But I think this team definitely looks good. It's just how much potential do they have? Because the main theme of the Heretics teams lately is like they seem like a kind of mid team, but if they're having a really good day, they're like near unstoppable. But
Mhm.
it's just like, how many good days can they have?
Yeah. Why does that one guy have his face covered? He wants to be different. Hugs. He wants to be different. He wants to be edgy. I don't know. I agree. I think I do like the
I'm
blackout
excited
jerseys
for
too.
this Heretics team, to be honest. Yeah, their jerseys look a lot better than they originally did when they first became a team.
I
I like these.
agree. I like these as well. Very stylish, very cool. Moving on, we've got the Vancouver Surge. Got Abe, Legend, Quinn, and Loser. Lunar. Oh my god. Oh my god, I need to drink caffeine. Lunars. This is a very young team, but I feel like Surge. I think this is one thing that I think they're really good at an organization. They find and develop really good players. They always have a young team.
They have been very good at that, yeah.
Yeah. Once they switched away from having like the goats of the industry, after the first like couple years, they've been really good at finding and developing new like talent. Unfortunately, the new talent does go to other rosters, but they do bring in some really great players and develop them into
The talent going to other
assistant.
rosters is just a product of surge management being crap, which is kind of how it's been like ever since the beginning.
Yeah, cause like 04, he's a phenomenal player. He started out on the Surge, and now he's on Phase, and I think he's really going to turn up this year. So I mean, this roster it's a very young roster, but I think they have a lot of potential. I think they're gonna do what Surge does best, and they're gonna have their moments. They're gonna shine, but I just don't feel like they have like the experience and the depth to really like take themselves all the way. Um,
Yeah, I
which will kind
mean,
of put
at
them
least
down.
I'm not gonna like call it right now because obviously this is a super new, super young team. Who knows what's gonna happen?
Mm-hmm.
Like this team could come up and be the best team by the end of the year, or they could be the worst team. Who knows? But just looking at what's happened so far, this team it's looking rough. They have so far in the events they played, in the scrims they played, they have looked very, very bad. Um, Now, like I said, it's just the beginning. Like this is a super young team. They probably can get it together faster than basically any other team because this is one of, if not the youngest teams in the league. Um, the only like kind of veteran here is Gwen, and he hasn't been out. He hasn't been around very long at all.
No,
Um, so I
still
think
under
that
five
they do
years in the
have
league.
potential. It's just like they just got to get it together because holy moly, the events they played so far, it has been pretty bad. Um, Especially like I hate to say it, but this is like the struggle of going from one game to another. But um, as much as I loved it when he was on Optic, Legend has not had a great transition to Call of Duty so far. Um, it, it's been tough.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're gonna. I think this is one of those teams that if they stay together, long term, that they're gonna mature the more the season progresses. I feel like by the end of the season, pending if this roster stays together through like mid season roster mania, I think that they will mature. Once they kind
Yeah.
of they just have to find their footing first, and once they do, they'll
I
be a
mean,
solid
honestly,
team.
like Surge Management is going to do what Surge Management does most likely, and make some sort of bad decision, even though they have a good team. But I honestly like. I hope that this team and these four guys get 2 years together.
Yeah,
I think that would benefit them a lot. But is that going to happen? I don't know.
probably not.
I mean, even if they're like just a mid-pack team, I think that they should get signed for 2 years and stay for 2 years and see what
Hmm.
happens. But like, I feel like if this team starts off really bad, that they're already going to look at roster changers,
I think
and then
unless
we're not going to get to see what we maybe could have seen out of this team.
I think unless there's like a really like one player that just really stands out and just really like matures through this game that would do better on a different team, I think they would really benefit from sticking together.
Honestly, I think the guy that could do that is probably Legend.
Yeah.
Legend is like he's so like naturally skillful that I think once he learns like the intricacies of COD, he'll be good. But we'll see how he transitions. So far, it's been a little rough, but it
Yeah.
also is very early.
Yeah. So that's the Surge. Then we've got G2, which is Estriel, Kremp, Mamba, and Caesar Skies. Hey, Skies. Um, this roster, I don't know. I don't know about this one. I'm not gonna lie. A
This
little.
one is, I don't know, man.
I don't
Like,
know. I don't know.
like it. This one is one where I really have no idea. Like, this obviously the standout player on this team is Skies. He's probably going to be the leader. He's the veteran of these guys. Like, I think he can help them quite a bit. But it's just like, what are we looking at here? Because Cramp was so back and forth on Cloud9 last season, and he has been for like ever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Crimp is one of those guys that you have no idea what you're going to get out of him when he goes to play matches or an event. You have no idea what's going to happen. Um, but I don't know. I mean, I think this is just going to be another one of those like mid-pack teams. I think they have potential. They played pretty well at the Monster Gaming event, but it's just like that's one of those things that happens is like a lot of these younger teams, they do one of two things. They either start out really bad and they get better over time, or they start out super hot because they're young and they want to grind the game a ton. But
Mm-hmm.
then every other team catches up and they just get left in the dust. And so far, G2 Minnesota have started off pretty good. I would say that they're one of the better looking, like totally new teams. But how long is that going to last is the question.
Yeah. So we'll just have to wait and see on them. But I think they'll probably have their moments and like glimpses of goodness throughout the year. And then we've got the Gentlemates roster, the Paris Gentlemates. We've got Envoy, Sib, Neptune, and Ghosty. Envoy and Ghosty staying together. Um, they competed in the Monster. Was it the Monster Game event that they competed as like a no name
Yeah, they
org?
competed. They hadn't been announced yet, so they were competing under Orgulus at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this team is kind of insane. Like at least from what they've shown so far, I think that for most of the year, if not all of the year, it's just going to be these guys in Optic competing. Like they came in. I mean, everybody thought this team was going to be good. Like even like when we first heard the rumors of this team, like I was looking at them and I was like, yeah, this team's going to be good. They're definitely going to be contenders. But wow, they have started this game off extremely hot. I mean, they competed under Orgulus in the Monster Gaming event and took Optic to a game 7 in the grand final after Optic had not lost a single map in the event before then. When they competed in the Kason event just this past weekend and they beat Optic, they won the event. So these guys are very, very good and they are looking insane to start the season.
Yeah, I think Envoy and Ghosty had um kind of a shit year last year on Thieves, and I think they're ready to they're hungry to get after it
Well, yeah,
and
that's the
continue
crazy
on.
thing about both of these pairs is like they both were on very good teams. They both were arguably like the scapegoats of their teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like you look at what people were saying was the problem with like Thieves and Surge, it was like for Thieves it was usually Envoy or Ghosty, and for Surge it was usually Saber Neptune. And like these two pairs got cut from top teams and they just got together and they were like, we're gonna prove everybody wrong this time. And they are looking like they're gonna do that because holy moly, they are very good.
Very excited. We're definitely gonna add to the
This is
competitive
gonna be
factor.
very fun
Mm-hmm.
for considering like especially like when you look at the history of like Paris COD teams, it's not been that great.
No.
Like I would argue that Paris has probably had the worst average overall COD teams out of anywhere that a COD League team has been represented. But this team is almost certainly going to turn that around. I mean, this team looks really, really good. I think that Gotaga and the Gentlemates have picked up an insane squad.
Who did I miss? I think I missed Breach.
Yeah, Breach, Falcons.
Yeah. So we have the Boston Breaches roster of Cammy, Purge, Snoopy, and Nasty.
These guys are like, for the most part, they're running it back, kind of like
Mm-hmm.
these guys have been here. Especially Snoopy. Snoopy's been like, ever since Snoopy came in, he's been like the franchise player for this team. They want to keep him. They want to
Mm-hmm.
develop him. Um, I think that depending on how these guys play in this game, they could be good. I mean, Cammy was like a top 3 to 5 player in Cold War. That was like his year, and he was insane. So we know that like when he's really good at a game, he is going to be one of the best. Um, I thought Purge was really good. Uh, Back in like MW3, which I feel like this game kind of plays more like MW3, at least than BO6 did. Um, Nasty, obviously, like he's kind of had like an up and down tenure in the CDL, but I think he could be good. Um, the big questions is just like how good are all these guys going to be on this game? Because a lot of these guys seem to be like game dependent. Because, um, especially Cammy, like Cammy is, like I said, Cammy could be one of the best players in the game if he's really good at this game. I think it was good for them to keep him because of that. But it's just what are you going to get out of this team? You don't really know.
Yeah.
Um,
It'll
I
be
think
like,
this team, there's a lot of teams that like, I hate to say it, but like the way that it's been looking, uh, at least as far as like how the events have gone down so far, granted it's early, but it honestly, it, it almost looks like this year in the CDL, we're going to be seeing like the top 4 teams and then everybody else.
yeah. But usually when that happens, everybody else, there's a couple teams that'll kind of like poop into it, pop into the top four every once in a while. They'll like in a major or something, they'll just like pop off and make their way up there and knock out one of the other top teams. So I'm hoping that that's the case again. I think that there's a few teams that can definitely do that. Um. Okay, what was the other teams that I missed here?
I don't think we didn't talk about Falcons. I don't think we talked about Koi either.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I think that was it though. And Cloud9. I don't think we looked at Cloud9 either.
Oh no. Okay, so then we've got the Riyadh Falcons. Um Hold on.
I'm gonna be honest. This team is probably the team I think out of everybody else that has the most potential to upset and be very good. This team has a lot of potential. Um, Especially like, I mean, we know that Cell obviously is he's been one of, if not the best player in every game since he's started. I mean, this was a crazy acquisition for them to get Celium. Um, but then like you look at like Pred, who I mean, Pred has proven to be really good despite some of the issues he had, especially last season. He proved to be pretty good on this team, and I think that the time that they spent together last season will help them this season with Pred. Um, and I mean, Exnid coming back. I think outside of Kicks, he was probably the best Arabic player that they got. Um, when they were starting the Falcons. And I think it honestly, like a lot of people are a little bit iffy on Exnid, but I think that he has a lot of potential and he has been playing pretty well. Um,
Yeah.
I think the X factor for this team though is definitely Kismet. Like Kismet, like with how good he played uh on the subliners when they won COD champs
I keep
and
forgetting he has a ring.
how much of a factor he was. Like Kismet is probably like the ultimate example of like playing to win.
Yeah.
Like he will do absolutely whatever it takes for his team to win. And teams need that. And I think that if Kismet is on his game, this team could make a splash, and they could very well win an event.
Agreed. So that's the Rehud Falcons, and then Cloud9. Cloud9 and Koi. Oh my god, there's so many teams. And then we'll go over
Cloud9 and Koi.
there you go. Like this is a E9 COD. There.
Yeah.
Introducing
So I
CNY
mean,
2020.
this team is like
Afro.
Afro. I think Afro will be pretty good. Um, I do think Afro will be good.
Beans. Beans is a solid play.
Them getting Beans from Ultra, I think, was good.
Yeah.
I think Beans was very good for Toronto. Um, I think he's one of the more underrated players. I think he could be very good on this team. Um, Vivid is one that I think Vivid is the X factor of this team because I mean Vivid is like outside of like Shotzi, Vivid is one of the fastest players in the league in terms of how with the pace that he plays at. Like Vivid can set the tone for a game. And if he's playing well and he's getting kills, this team could be very good.
Mm-hmm.
Um
There's Mac as well.
Mac is one too that I feel like Mac has kind of went he's kind of not been like getting the praise he deserves.
Mm-hmm.
He has been kind of like he did take a year off from COD and he spent some time in challengers, but he has been very, very good. Uh, I think that he's well deserving of a return to a pretty good team. Um, I think that this team, it seems like they're kind of cobbled together out of almost random players. Like you don't feel like that these four guys should work together, but like I think if they figure out their places in the team and they get it together quick, this team could be good.
I agree. I agree. So we'll just have to wait and see on them. And then we've got Toronto. Boy. Damn. Something's coming. What's coming? Did they not announce their roster yet? I think they did. Where, oh where? There's Kleenex. There's Joe. Deceives. Insight and Riel.
Yeah.
I want to
I
find a
think
post.
I I mean I do like that they kept Kleenex and Joe. I think those are very, very good for them to keep those two. Kleenex has been very loyal to Toronto ever since he got there. Joe Deceives last year proved to be a very, very good pickup. He has been quickly rising as one of the better like players that's come into the league in the last couple years. Um, I mean, Real is kind of like inconsistent, but I think when he's good, he's really good. And I think he will find his place on this team and be pretty good. The question for me, um, big question for me is insight, because insight has proven to be one of the most, like, he's like one of the weirdest type of players in the league. Like, Toronto can win games and insight will go like near double negative. Like, insight, like, I don't know. I don't understand insight anymore, because like when he came into the league, he was very very good. He arguably was the X factor that helped Toronto back in Cold War. That made them such a good team. But ever since then, he's just kind of not been that guy. He just he's just kind of a whatever player. Like, doesn't really make that much noise, but isn't like horrible. But I don't know. I felt like that, and I said this last year. I was like, when when uh when Beans couldn't play last year, and they picked up Mercules to sub, and we got to see Mercules play, and he was as good as he was. I was saying back then, before anything else happened, that Toronto should drop Insight and pick up Mercules, because I felt like him and Beans would be very good together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that did not happen, and they let Mercules go to Optic and started this madness. Um, I don't know what to expect out of Insight. I mean, if he's good, he will be very very good. But I don't know. I feel like Insight's going to be the guy that drags this team down. Like, I feel like this team outside of him is really good, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. They have a potential to be a really good team, but it kind of just depends on what they can pull together. And I think that's all of them. I think that's all the rosters. So we have our full schedule. So Major 1's gonna be Dream Dallas, and then Major 2 is gonna be DreamHack Birmingham. Then Major 3 is gonna be Atlanta, which will be the Pro Am. We have Major 4, which will be in Paris. Champs will be in Vegas, and then EWC in Riyadh. So, I mean, Champs being in Vegas is gonna be sick. I
Yeah,
think
I think that's going to be a fun event.
Major 1 being in Dallas. I mean, when in doubt, have Optic host an event. They just always
Yeah.
they always host a really good event on that's just how it goes. Um DreamHack will be good too. So I think if you want to watch more than just Call of Duty, you want to get more bang for your buck, especially with costs of traveling increasing. DreamHack will be a good event to go to. Um, if you want to go overseas. One thing I do want to point out though that 3 out of the 6 events this year are not in the U.S. So they're really trying to expand internationally.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. I love that 2 of the majors are international. I feel like outside of like team representatives, CDL is very very much lacked international representation,
Mm-hmm.
especially going to events. Um, so it's really really cool that they're having 2 international majors.
Yeah,
Um, I think that'll be very very fun to watch. I think those events will probably be the highlights of the year, if I had to guess.
I agree. And then we have opening weekend this weekend, starting Friday through Sunday. We'll cover it next week, kind of go into detail and see how they're showing up in the first CDL event of the year. Um, so that'll be exciting too. Lots to look out for. That they're answering our questions. Well, they're answering our requests of having more Call of Duty events, which I really do like. So hopefully this will continue.
I'm excited.
It'll be a good year, ladies and gentlemen. Alrighty, to close out the podcast today, Deception is gonna talk about his weekly race stuffs. Deception, take it away.
Dude, I last week was last week was surreal. We ran the truck race in New Hampshire, which is like, I mean, New Hampshire's a place that I like, but I hadn't really driven it a lot of NASCAR 25. So like going in practicing for it, I didn't really fully know what to expect. Um, and it turns out that I came out swinging for New Hampshire because um, I completely swept the race. I led all the stages, won the stages for maximum points, and it ended up getting my first win, which was incredible. I mean, it feels really good considering like how long I've been working to be better and get better in terms of sim racing, and finally winning a league race felt really good. Um, and then Saturday for the Cup Series, I went to Circuit of the Americas and first road course race for me on NASCAR 25. I thought I did better than I thought. I wasn't really putting too much stock into that uh, because it's really like with the way that the game feels on controller, it's kind of difficult to get road courses down and be consistent on road courses. But I felt pretty good. Um, I feel like I possibly could have won the race if I didn't make so many mistakes in terms of getting penalties. But you live and you learn. We'll be back this week. Um, trucks are going to Indianapolis Raceway Park, which is going to be fun. Well, especially just like New Hampshire, it's just short of New Hampshire, just a flat oval. And then Cup Series will be going to Iowa, which uh, from racing online, I've gotten a lot of reps on Iowa, so maybe I'll be good at Iowa. But really, like, just trying to chase winning a championship in both of these series, and I feel like I'm in a good spot right now.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm very proud of you, Deception. You made a lot of strides as far as the racing has been from just over the last year or so. Good job to you, man. Killing it.
Yeah.
Keep it up. Alrighty, guys. So that'll be the it for us today. Thank you so much for tuning into episode 140 of the Climb Together podcast. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys follow us on Twitch, where we stream this live every Wednesday. Twitch.tv/tonage underscore scorpion. Twitch.tv/deception276. Make sure you follow both of us. Deception streams a lot. I stream a lot, and I'm going to be streaming a lot more. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the episode. If you guys want to take a trip down memory lane, there is an entire podcast playlist on my YouTube channel, Tonage Scorp, with all the episodes of the podcast, where you can go and you can watch previous episodes, catch bits and pieces of ones that you didn't get to watch all the way through, or take a trip down memory lane and watch some of our older ones. I personally recommend the first episode of the podcast, that first two really, because those ones are kind of timeless. We really don't talk about any like current events. We kind of just talk about why we started the podcast and more about ourselves and that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, that was like a golden time for us to start the podcast because
yeah.
like
There's nothing going on in Call of
CDL
Duty.
stuff hadn't started yet.
Yep,
Like
it was like right before, and
it was a
it was
good time.
perfect timing on our part. It's like we planned it that way. So yeah, thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next time. Deception, say bye.
Bye.
See you guys next time. Peace.